Hello everyone, welcome to biology class. In this class we are going to see 9th standard biology chapter 19 plant physiology. Let's see the learning objectives of this lesson. So after the completion of this lesson, we will come to know the plants have certain autonomic movements, that is the movements that take place on its own in plants. And also we can understand the different types of movements in plants. And we will be able to differentiate the tropic movement from Nastic movement. And we can also gain knowledge on transpiration and its process, and photosynthesis and the process of production of food. Before getting into the lesson, let's have an introduction. We all know animals will move in search of food, shelter and reproduction. Do plants exhibit such kind of movement? Yes. Plants also exhibit certain movement. Example, in case of touch-me-not plant Mimosa pudica, the leaves of the plants closes on touching. And in another instance, in case of sunflower, Helianthus anus, the flower follows the path of the sun from dawn to dusk, that is from east to west. And these movements are triggered by an external stimuli. So what are the stimuli in the above kinds of movement? In case of touch-me-not plant, the touch acts as the stimuli. And in case of sunflower, the light acts as the stimuli. So, on the plants exhibit the movements upon these stimuli. But plants cannot move from one place to another like animals. And only it can move its body parts for getting sunlight, water and nutrients. And plants are sensitive to external factors like light, gravity, temperature, etc. And in this lesson, we will learn about the various movements taking place in plants and about photosynthesis and transpiration. Now, we will move into the lesson. So, the first function of the plant we are going to see is plant movements. And there are two types of plant movements, tropic movement and Nastic movement. So let's look into detail what is tropic movement and Nastic movement. First, tropic movement in plants, otherwise referred to as tropism. So what is tropism? So it is a unidirectional movement of a plant or part of a plant towards the direction of stimuli. So the plant is going to exhibit a unidirectional movement towards the stimulus. So if it is going to exhibit its movement towards the stimuli, such kind of movement is called tropic movement. Let's see the different types of tropism. So this tropism can be classified into different types based on the nature of stimuli. So what are the different types of tropism? So when the stimuli is light, that kind of tropism is called phototropism. Photo meaning light. So the movement of the plant part towards the light is called phototropism. When the plant is going to exhibit its movements towards the gravity, such tropic movement is called gravitotropism, otherwise referred to as geotropism. So in this lesson, we will learn this as geotropism. And when the plant is going to exhibit the movement towards touch, such kind of tropic movement is called Thigmotropism. And when the plant is going to exhibit movement towards chemical, it is called Chemotropism. Here chemo refers to chemicals. And when the plant is going to exhibit the movement in response to water, it is called hydrotrophism. Let's see in detail about these different types of tropism. The first type of tropism we are going to see phototropism. So the photo refers to light. So movement of a plant part towards light is referred to as phototropism. And example, which part of a plant is going to move towards the light? It is the shoot of a plant. So the shoot of a plant towards the light is referred to as phototropism. The next kind of movement is geotropism. So the word geo refers to gravity. So the movement of a plant part in response to gravity is called as geotropism. Of course, we know the root of a plant grows towards the gravity. So this kind of movement of a plant part towards gravity is called geotropism. The next kind of movement is hydrotrophism. The word hydro refers to water. So the movement of a plant or a part of a plant towards water is called hydrotrophism. So in this illustration you can see hydrotrophism. So the movement of a plant part, that is the root, is going towards the water. So in case of the moist soil, so the root grows straight, and whereas in case of a dry soil you can see the root of a plant, it grows towards in search of water. So this movement is called hydrotrophism. The next movement is called Thigmotropism. Thigmo refers to touch. So the movement of a plant part to touch is called as Thigmotropism. And example, climbing vines. In case of climbing vines, these plants have a support for it to grow because their stem is weak. So they cannot grow erect. So when we give a support for the plant to grow, so on touching the support, it grows or bends towards the support and grows. So this kind of movement is called Thigmotropism. And the next kind of tropic movement is Chemotropism. So chemo refers to chemicals. So the movement of a plant part in response to chemicals is called chemotropism. And the example is the growth of pollen tube in response to sugar present on the stigma. So we can see this is the diagram of gynoecium of a plant. So this is stigma, this is style, and this is the ovule. So we know the female gamete is inside the ovule and the pollen will be having the male gamete. For the process of fertilization, the male gamete which is found in the pollen have to reach the ovule. So the pollen which is deposited on the stigma of a flower, it grows, develops a pollen tube and goes towards the ovule. And this happens, the growth of the pollen tube happens in search of a chemical substance which is nothing but the sugar. So this kind of movement is referred to as chemotropism. Here the sugar acts as the chemical substance. So the pollen tube grows towards the sugar. So this is a kind of chemotropism. So we have seen the 5 different kinds of tropic movements, namely phototropism, geotropism, Thigmotropism, hydrotropism and chemotropism. And we have to know what are positive and negative tropic movements. So tropism is generally termed positive if the growth is towards the signal. So if it is going to go towards the stimulus. So if the part of the plant is towards the stimulus, then it is called as positive tropism, and if it is going to go away from the stimulus, it is called as negative tropism. For example, the shoot of a plant moves towards the light. So the shoot of a plant goes towards the light. So towards the stimulus means positive phototropism. So similarly, if the shoot of the plant is going to grow away from the gravity. So the growth of the stem is away from the gravity. So we can say this as negative geotrophism. So because the root of a plant is going to grow away from the gravity, so it can be called negatively geotrophic. Similarly, when we take the root of a plant, the root of a plant is growing away from the light, so it is negatively phototrophic, and the root of a plant is going to grow towards the gravity, so it is called positively geotrophic. So in short, you have to remember very clearly, if the plant part is going to grow towards the stimulus, it is called positive tropism, and if it is going to grow away from the stimulus, it is called negative tropism. So do you know some halophytes, that is the plants that are growing in a saline environment, that is salty environment, is called as halophytes. So these plants, they develop negatively geotropic roots. So we all know roots, they are going to grow towards the gravity, but in this case of halophytes, they develop negatively geotrophic roots. That is, the plants of the roots of these plants turn 180-degree upright for respiration. So these are the roots of the halophytic plants. So why such adaptation they develop? Because in the marshy environment, they cannot get the air. So these plants develop the upright roots so as to breathe. So we have seen about tropic movement, and the second kind of plant movement we are going to see is Nastic movement. So what are Nastic movement? So Nastic movements are non-directional response of a plant or part of a plant to the stimulus. So again, I would like to recall tropic movement. Tropic movement is a unidirectional response of a plant or a part of the plant to stimulus. Here Nastic movement is non-directional response. So here the stimulus is going to do nothing with the movement of a plant towards, that is a particular response. So based on the nature of the stimuli, the Nastic movements are of as follows: photonasty, thigmonasty and thermonasty. These three kinds of Nastic movements we are going to see in detail. So in short, you remember tropic movement is a growth dependent movement, that is the growth of a plant is influenced by the tropic movement, whereas Nastic movement has no connection with the growth of the plant. So the first Nastic movement we are going to see is photonasty, the movement of a part of a plant in response to light. Here you can see in this illustration the flower, the moonflower, Ipomia alba. It is going to open in the night and closes during the day. So here in this illustration you can see it is closed in the night and the flower opens in the day. And another example also it is given, Tarasacum officinal. So it blooms in the morning and closes in the evening, whereas the moonflower opens in the night and closes during the day. So this kind of movement is called Nastic movement. And it is photonasty. Photo again, light. The second kind of Nastic movement we are going to see is Thigmonasty. So the movement of a plant part in response to touch. Here in this illustration you can see upon touch the leaves of touch-me-not plant folds its leaves and it droops. So this kind of Nastic movement is called Thigmonasty. And Thigmonasty is otherwise referred to as Seismonasty. The third kind of Nastic movement we are going to see is Thermonasty. The word thermo refers to temperature. So the movement of a plant part is associated with the change in the temperature is called thermonasty. Example, the tulip flower blooms as the temperature increases. So here you can see the tulip flower blooms as the temperature increases. So we have seen three different kinds of Nastic movements: photonasty, Thigmonasty and Thermonasty. So we have seen very clear about the Tropic movement and its types and Nastic movements and its types. Let's have a look into the do you know. So the Venus flytrap, Dionaea muscipula, it presents a spectacular example of Thigmonasty. Thigmonasty is nothing but Thigmo refers to touch. So the Nastic movement upon touch is called Thigmonasty. So the Venus flytrap, it is going to trap the insect. It is a kind of insectivorous plant and it exhibits one of the fastest known Nastic movement. Here in this illustration you could see in case of Venus flytrap, it traps the insects. So this is a kind of Thigmonasty. Once again you can have a look into Thigmonasty as the insect enters, the leaves getting closed. So after we have learnt about the different kinds, two different kinds of movements, that is the Tropic movement and Nastic movement, let's look into the differences between the Tropic and Nastic movements. So Tropic movement is unidirectional response to the stimulus. So towards one particular direction, that is called as unidirectional response. So that is, for example, the stem of a plant is going to grow towards the light, one particular direction. Whereas Nastic movement, there are no such directional response. So it is called non-directional response to the stimulus. The second difference is Tropic movement is a growth dependent movement. So this movement has got some influence on the growth. For example, the growth of a plant towards the stem of the plant towards light, or the growth of a root of a plant towards gravity. So it has something to do with the growth. So it is called growth dependent movement. Whereas in case of Nastic movement, it is a growth independent movement. So it has no connection with the growth. For example, the leaves of the touch-me-not plant, if it is going to close upon touching, is there something to do with the growth? No. So it is called a growth independent movement. And Tropic movement, it is more or less, it is a permanent and irreversible. So we cannot change. For example, the shoot of a plant growing towards the light, it is a permanent kind of change. So it cannot be reversed. So it is called irreversible. Whereas the Nastic movement, it is a temporary movement and it is reversible. For example, the touch-me-not plant, when we touch, the leaves fold. But after we withdraw our touch and after some time, it will again get back to the original position. So it is reversible. And Tropic movement is found in all plants. So in all plants you can see the shoot is growing towards the light and root is going to grow towards the gravity and water. So this kind of movement is found in all plants, whereas Nastic movement is found only in a few specialized plants. For example, this Thigmotropism can be seen only in case of touch-me-not plant. And Photonastic can be seen only in case of several plants. So this Nastic movement is found only in a few specialized plants. And Tropic movement is a slow action. So the movement or bending of a plant towards the light is a slow action. Whereas the Nastic movement, it is a immediate action. For example, on touching the leaves of touch-me-not plant, immediately it closes the leaves. So these are the differences between the Tropic and Nastic movements. So with this, we are coming to the end of today's class. So we have seen in detail about the plant movements. So in next class, we will see about the other functions of the plants, that are photosynthesis and transpiration in detail. Thank you.